Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are taking a look at Endless Winter Paleo Americans. So this game entered Kickstarter back in 2020. Here you can see best Kickstarter campaign of 2020. And it was one of the ones that was delayed for various reasons due to COVID, and was, some people are telling me, was the original worker placement / deck building combo game. However, since this one went to Kickstarter and Dune Imperium and Lost Ruins of Arnak went straight to publication, straight to retail, that this one lagged behind and isn't quite getting the respect it deserves of being the first. But this is by Fantasia Games. I'm not 100% sure of what else is in their lineup, but I do know that they are getting ready to release Unconscious Mind, which has been highly touted. That should be coming out this year. But you can see this game got a ton of accolades. I was very struck by how much I enjoyed Lost Ruins of Arnak and Dune Imperium, so I did not back this one on Kickstarter, but now it's finally available in my friendly local game store, so I went ahead and picked it up. Another nice thing, hopefully you'll be able to see that in this video, is that the retail version still has a lot of the nice upgrades from the Kickstarter. So it's not like you have to go track down a Kickstarter exclusive to get some of the screen printed tokens or the miniatures. You are going to be missing out on things like the wash or little mini miniatures that go up this scoring track here, things like that. But a lot of the stuff that you would see in the Kickstarter version you're going to see here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. Okay, so you may notice the artwork here on the beginning will probably look very familiar. The art is by the Miko, who does all of Garfield Games' artwork, which I feature a lot on the channel. He's also done a lot of the Frontier Games artwork and the Valeria system of games. And let's see, Stan Kordonsky, I believe, did Dice Hospital, Rurik, Dawn of Kiev. He's kind of new to the hobby, but this, I think, is a big hit for him. All right, some just kind of not super big, but some fun artwork on the inside. Endless Winter obviously is kind of a caveman style game where you're going to go through many eras of civilization, of your civilization. You're actually going to be burying people, things like that. There's some really nice artwork on the edges of the box here. Kind of tricky for me to spin it all around, but similar to what you see in Garfield Games. All right, really nice quality rule book here. This feels like the kind of wingspan paper. It's very textured. It feels really nice in your hands. This is going to be a table hog, but from what I understand, once you get to learn it, it plays pretty quickly. Even the solo portion plays quickly, controlling the solo AI. So as long as you got the room for it, it should be. And there's some variants here, and then there should be some solo mode instructions. There might be a whole separate rulebook for solo mode. Sacred Stones, modules, and iconography. Okay. Oh, there we go. Right underneath. Here is the solo mode. So again, this one's been highly touted as a really good solo game. Again, this is a Euro style game with a deck building component to it. Worker placement and deck building are going to be the two mechanics. All right, so there we go for that. Always like it when they do this. So you're going to see some included trays, which is always really nice. And here they're just showing you where everything is supposed to go. This appears to just be a plain piece of paper or thin cardboard. All right, like I said, some really nice production here. There appears to be a few things missing. Maybe I can pick up down the road if I really enjoy this game, or maybe there's even room in here for some of the expansion content. But let's take a look at these player boards first. So we've got some dual layer player boards. Each one of these has some unique artwork, to male, to female. And you're going to be, slotting things into here to gain these bonuses. And then you're going to be uncovering these by placing out your monoliths and your campsites and your tents. It's going to increase your ability to gain meat, track your axe and your meat, which are the two main resources in the game right here. So again, really nice, thick, double-sided cardboard there for that. And then we've got a whole bunch of trays. Now look at these. This appears to be, let's see, individual player trays. A game designed after my own heart. I love it. So these are going to be set up so that each individual person has their own tray. You just pull out the tray. Here is an example of it. It's going to give you your burial card, your 9 starting cards, and then all the figures for if you were the red player. Fantastic. We will be doing a video showing off how all this looks once it's back in the box. I'm just going to set all these off to the side for right now. So here we have some camp tokens, again, or tents. Okay, so these are not screen printed. I believe in the Kickstarter version they are screen printed, but that's okay. Not a huge deal. So each player has a couple tents that they can put out, and then if you have tents, I think it's like at least three tents out in a specific location, at that intersecting of the hexagon is where you can put a camp, which is represented by these more plastic miniature-like components here. So if you had 3 tents all on 3 neighboring hexagons, you could put this in the middle, and now you're influencing all of them. You get the tents back so you can spread your influence elsewhere. These are just player bases because you can play each of these miniatures here for the tribe's leaders. This is your kind of leader of your faction. Can be played by anybody, can go along with any different player. So if you want to be green, it doesn't matter. You can play with any tribesman. You would just simply put your green base on that. And these are the only miniatures in the game, which again, I am perfectly fine with. So we've got one here, got a little dog friend. Let's see who else we got here. Big hulking guy with an axe. The Kickstarter version came with washes on these, which looked really nice, but we may try and give these give a jab at painting these. Some type of lady with a stick or something. Ooh, very much skinnier, shadowy looking figure. Appears to have a doll in his or her hand. And last but not least, we have this person with a dinosaur, what appears to be a dinosaur skull for a staff. And then it looks like a spot for something maybe in the future. All right, let's look at the rest of the fun components we have here. So these are screen printed. So these are your workers. Again, this is a very tight system similar to Lost Ruins of Arnak and or Dune Imperium, where you only have 2 workers plus your chieftain. So you're really only going to 3 worker placement spots, utilizing your built-up deck, and so on and so forth. Here are some animal tokens. I believe these are to keep track of who's like the first player, and where you are in the first player track or the turn order track depends on what kind of bonuses you get between turns. I'm not 100% sure what the purple, red, blue. Oh, then this Mastodon keeps track of the what round you're in, the round tracker. Then we have these. I believe these technically are like plastic components or just like ceramic or something like that in the Kickstarter version, but these are still really nice. These are wooden and screen printed, perfectly fine. For the retail version, they're not cardboard, essentially, is what I'm getting at. And you're actually going to be using these to stack up and build up little, archaic-like structures. Each faction has their own color, and then everybody gets a couple neutral ones. Here we have some simple score trackers. If you wrap all the way around the board and you break 100 points, you would get one of those. And then these guys are what's going to be going up your the kind of temple influence track, which is a major scoring point. And again, Kickstarter version, these would be like, you know, more like these miniature style. But these again are they're a little small, in my opinion, but that's okay. All right, what else do we got here? Okay, these are going to be where those monolith type wooden tokens are going to go. You're going to be placing them on here and building up your monoliths on here. I think the Kickstarter version, this might be a single piece with a, you know, it's going to be would be dual layer like the player boards, but that's actually better for storage. All right, let's see here. We got a whole bunch of cards. Let's pull this out. And we got some cardboard. So obviously I need to cut this open. So here is essentially the main board. This is going to have the action spaces that you can go to. This is the turn order track that then during the eclipse phase, which is kind of between turns, you're going to gain certain benefits depending on where you are in the turn order track. Then there's going to be the stones, I forget what they're called, but they can slot into your onto your player board. Those are going to go up here, and you can see there's additional spaces for higher player counts. And then down on the bottom here is where a kind of market of new cards to hold onto the deck building aspect will be placed. Here's what the back looks like. That's just kind of fun. They could have easily made that just plain white or something. All right, let's jump to this one. So this is one of the other scoring tracks. So imagine this board, the board we just showed, that board that, you know, this one that's made up of 4 pieces having to go out there, and you can see a whole set of market cards. You can see how this thing is going to become quite the table hog. So, but this is a track that you're going to be moving up on this track as you gain influence with the idols. Here's some of those stones you can see that are going to give you end game scoring points. These are going to be rest tokens. So if you rest in this game, you're actually gaining benefits and stuff. And this is interesting. The backside here is a whole nother track. Interesting. But when you rest, if you're the first person to rest, you gain an extra benefit based on those tokens. These, which is a whole nother board here, this is where your camps are going to go. So if you have a camp or tent here, tent here, tent here, then you can place your campsite here in the middle. So then this is a whole nother board. So we've got this kind of laid out, these hexagonal pieces, the main board, that idle track, the monolith mini board. All of this is creating for quite the epic table hog. Some more of these pieces here that should make up a good portion of these. And this is then one last track here, as if it wasn't enough. This is going to be where you'll find your animals that you can hunt. Hunting animals will provide you food. Also, sets of animals will provide you victory points at the end of the game. I believe that is everything. Yes. So that's all of the cardboard. Let's take a look at all these cards now. Okay, so here are most of the cards in the deck, and I'll just kind of go over what you are looking at here. First of all, each player is going to get a set of 9 starting cards. So this is actually pretty much just a repeat, but here you can see this is for all the purple players, and so each one of these, there's 4 different sets in here, but there's some tribesmen here which are only giving you a single labor, no other additional action down below. Then a tribeswoman, for example, she is going to give you 1.5. So if you had 2 tribes, or a tribeswoman and a brave, that would equal 3 labor. And she gives you the ability, if you play her during the action phase, to convert 1 food into 1 tool, or if you save her for the eclipse phase, allows you to take this action here. So you can see that this is kind of the labor that they will spend, and also an action that they can provide during the action phase, or an action that they can take during the eclipse phase. you're going to use this labor in both phases. And then you have these tribe cards here, which don't provide any labor. They're not actual people, but they're ones that you can play for certain benefits. For example, here, if you spend a tool, you can place one of your monolith tokens. You can play one of these for free every turn, or if you want to play additional ones, you're going to have to pay some extra resources. So that's just a brief overview of the cards. Everybody gets a somewhat similar 9-card deck, as well as over here we have our 5 chieftain cards. So these guys have, you can see an A side and a B side that has different stuff going on here. So I guess if you are dealt one of these randomly, you could decide which side of Chief Firewolf you want to play with. And again, these are just sitting out the entire time. These are not shuffled into your deck. These, you place out your miniature, and when you place out the miniature, you can also take this action. So there's those. So everybody would get one of these and a deck of 9 cards. Then, as you're playing throughout the game, you're going to build up your deck using these 2 decks here. So these are basically more tribe. These are the tribe cards. These are culture cards. Sorry, I misspoke. So tribe cards have just these obviously would be shuffled, but a whole bunch of additional people. They're going to give you additional actions, VP at the end of the game, things like that. So you'll be adding these to your deck, as well as these culture cards, which are much more unique. There's a lot more unique ones of these, and there's also eras that these ones with a 1 in the corner will come out first, and then eventually you'll start seeing the ones with the 2s in the corner, which have even better actions. All right. All the while, you can this here, because there's a culture cap card. I'm not 100% sure, because these have the same backside, why you would need a culture cap. But there's that. These cards are your burial cards. So as you cull cards from your deck, aka if you no longer want the tribesman in your deck, he's no longer efficient to have in your deck, you can just simply say he has passed away. You bury him under your specific burial card, and then that's going to give you certain victory points at the end of the game. There's also some small-sized player aids here, also with what you are going to get depending on what player you are. So if you're the first player, you don't get anything. Second player, you get some extra food. Third player, you get a weapon or a tool, and fourth player, you get both. Also, you'll notice here that anytime you would gain something, say you gain a monolith token placement, you can always gain instead a lesser benefit. So just following the arrows, if the arrows point in the right direction, like if you really needed a food, you could take a food instead of playing a monolith, but that may not be that wise of a choice. Here we have just the different phases and the steps of the phases. Here we have some variable setup cards, which give you certain things. I believe these are optional. And then last but not least, we have our animal cards here. So not only do the animals tell you how many there are total in the deck, so if you're looking for a set and you see certain other people have them, this would tell you how many woolly mammoths there are total. If you tap it to the side, basically kill it off, you're going to gain this benefit for the woolly mammoth. It would fill up your meat no matter how much meat you have available or slots you have available. Or if you have a set, say you get to 2 woolly mammoths, it's going to be worth 5 points at the end of the game. This guy is wild. Here you can see this guy's going to allow you to move up on the idle track and give you 3 meat. So how do you want to, you may need to kill off some of these guys, break up a set in order to gain the food you need to feed your people. So that's that. There's not a huge variety in those because, again, you're hoping to build sets. And then, actually, truly last but not least, we have all of these cards that go along with the solo mode. I know that these kind of tell you which action they're going to take, and they also stack up like this so that they are gaining additional, as their turn goes along, they're getting more and more benefit. It's also telling you what kind of labor power they're taking into the eclipse phase, and these are tiebreaker arrows here. But that's going to do it for everything that's coming in the Endless Winter Paleo Americans retail version. So again, there were some differences in the retail version versus the Kickstarter version, but I don't think that they're going to affect gameplay in any way. They're like minor cosmetic upgrades that you might be missing. Again, this is a Euro style deck builder / worker placement game. So similar to Lost Ruins of Arnak or Dune Imperium, just was released at the tail end of last year. So up next, we will show off a video of all of this stuff being stored back into the plastic inserts, and then we'll cover how to play the game on the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.